The daughters of Malcolm X have got together to sue the CIA, the FBI, and the NYPD over the civil rights leader's assassination. So it looks like 3 daughters of Malcolm X have accused the CIA, FBI, and New York Police Department and others in a $100 million lawsuit Friday that played in the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X. It's filed in Manhattan federal court. And the daughters, along with Malcolm X's estate, claim the agencies were aware of and were involved in the assassination plot and failed to stop the of Malcolm X. Their attorney, surprisingly, is Ben Crump. I was definitely surprised about Ben Crump joining.
He on everything.
I know that there's money to be made.
There's money to be made. He's there.
Ben Crump, he's like, justice? Nah, I'm just here for the check. But he's here for this one, and I'll give him props because, this is not only about money. There's a lot of symbolism involved. And it looks like Ben Crump is saying he hoped federal and city officials would read and learn all the dastardly deeds done by their predecessors and right these historic wrongs.
They probably won't.
Yeah, so
especially now since Trump asked him.
Exactly. So the NYPD and CIA have not responded to these allegations, but I'm sure they will in due time.
Should have did that about 3 years ago.
And the FBI is saying it's standard practice to not comment on any current litigation going towards them. So, of course, Malcolm X was assassinated February 21st, 1965 at the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan, West 165th Street, as he spoke to several hundred people. And it looks like the family is saying the prosecution team suppressed the government's role in the assassination, and the lawsuit also alleges that there was corrupt, unlawful, and unconstitutional relationship between law enforcement and ruthless killers that went unchecked for many years and was actively concealed, condoned, protected, and facilitated by government agents leading up to the murder of Malcolm X. And that was in the lawsuit. And also it's saying the NYPD coordinated with federal law enforcement agencies, arrested the activist's security detail days before the assassination and intentionally removed their officers from inside the ballroom where Malcolm X was killed. Meanwhile, it adds federal agencies have personnel, including undercover agents in the ballroom, that failed to protect them. So what they're saying is the FBI set up the scene for the assassination by making sure all of Malcolm X's bodyguards who would have protected him were not there. They arrested them. They also said any police presence from the city, the NYPD, were removed from the room. And they're also saying that the undercover police officers in the room failed to be police officers and carry out their civil duty to protect. And they just played their part and did absolutely nothing to prevent the assassination of Malcolm X. And the lawsuit was not brought sooner because the defendants withheld information from the family, including the identities of undercover informants, agents, and provocateurs, and what they know about the planning that preceded the attack. So a lot of people have known for years that the government played a part in Malcolm X's assassination. So that's not a surprise, but what it is a surprise is holding them accountable. So I was a little shocked at that.
We got crazy amount of history of blacks being mistreated, never gotten their day in court. So, and they gone to the part that they want to suppress black history. They literally trying to suppress black history in schools. You go to state like the state of Florida, they actually got a law. They actually changed the curriculum of black history. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't want people to know the truth. And when these white kids learn black history and not white history, because we know whitewash history just tell what white people think how things went, when they don't want to tell about the cruel, the unjust things that they've done to black Americans for hundreds of years, forced labor. So if people really wanted to understand how America became one of the most powerful nations on this planet, well, that's because they done it by free and forced labor. Mm-hmm. They actively kidnapped people from their homelands, bring them here to the United States, forced them, sodomized them, and forced them into labor and treated them as property. So that's the reason why we had the Civil War, et cetera, et cetera. So my opinion is, we all know, and pretty much during the whole 60s movement, the FBI was actively taking out a lot of all of our civil rights leaders. They assassinated Malcolm X. They assassinated Martin Luther King. They assassinated a slew of civil rights leadership during the whole 60 movement. So, and the the FBI agent at the time was Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover, the cross-dressing director of the FBI. Right?
FBI, yep.
Yeah, so, and from my understanding, one of his grandparents was black, so he was like a quarter black, and that's why he went so hard on black people. I guess he wanted to prove he was down with the white folks. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this plays out because...
me personally, I think the timing could be way off because, number one, look at how the government is about to be shaped.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that means...
Isn't there something that they came with the lawsuit before Trump's administration took office?
True, but you already know that Trump not going to play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? You got to expect anything necessary. So if it makes enough noise to where it gets his attention, you know what I'm saying, to where he has to act on it, speak on it, whatever the case may be, then that's one thing for another. But we'll see.
Yeah. Truth be told, I think they may settle because I don't really know if the CIA has enough to defend itself or the FBI.
I mean, none of them have nothing to everybody know. History knows that they coordinated to assassinate him. Like I said, all our black civil rights leaders were purposely assassinated. Once you assassinated them, you incorporated welfare. Welfare helped deteriorate the black family. Then once you incorporate welfare, then you come in with the final touch and you flooded our neighborhoods with drugs.
Yeah, that's where the crack epidemic came from.
Right. We didn't get people need to get reformed. You went to jail or die. So it was a war on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Now with the opioids epidemic, it's a whole different saying and shit. They need rehabilitation and shit like that. One, you have to look at what race is affecting most. The crack cocaine was affecting black and brown, predominantly black race. Opioids, fentanyl, white.
Yeah, but the CIA did not flood these communities with opioids.
No, they didn't. The actual pharmaceutical companies and the doctors did.
Yeah, that's the cool part.
So in this case, like I said, the fentanyl opioid crisis was created by the pharmaceutical companies here in the United States, and they had doctors that they was paying that the doctors were end up pushing the prescription drug with no regulatory, nobody checking them and everything. So just selling that shit like it was crack.